Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Hello.
All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome to One Shot Show, where every week we are going to deep dive and walk you through on how to use AI and share you some AI workflow that we use. And basically, the goal is we want to share and use us as your use case, or like as well as use us as your examples to basically to apply whatever we share here in order for you to apply it in your AI workflow and customize it according to your needs. And yeah, we basically focus on certain AI tools, but this has been but this is like the episode 6, which is we have for the last 5 episodes we have talked about Cloud Code, we talk about Google Opal, uh, Cloud Cowork, as well as Anakin, and last week we talked about Cloud Channels as well as OpenClaw. And in this week, we have a guest. His name is Anferni. I assume like some of you already know him. And Anferni is building his Substack Solopreneur Code, where he deep dive on how solopreneur or like consultant or like typical freelancer to use AI in their daily workflow to improve productivity and then become more smarter over time at using AI. Um, and then maybe before we continue, maybe you can introduce yourself, Anfirni.
Okay. Hi, everybody. If you know me, I write solopreneur code, and then essentially, I just want to when I started my software, I just want to share my journey as a solopreneur because it is a terrible journey to be in, and yet
Yeah.
a super fulfilling one. Right. So why I write to share is because when I first started as a software, I tried to Google. There wasn't any ChatGPT yet, so I tried to Google, and then that was August 2023, and it was horrible. The information is like it was so everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So me being me, I tried everything, and the good, the bad, the lousy, the happy ones, and then so in April 2024, I decided to write about my journey. And then of course I Google again, and I found out about Substack. So prior to that, I never heard of Substack, and I wish I heard of that earlier. So I think Window joined the same year. We just had a live recently, right? So
Yeah.
and then I've been writing 2 posts a week, non-stop. Um,
For the
yeah, you
last for
for the
for
for the
almost
past
like
two
more
year
than a year,
plus,
right?
two
Two,
year
two
plus.
year plus. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
non-stop.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I know all of you want to ask, do I use AI? Of course, I use AI, but I use AI to generate ideas, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and later we'll talk about a bit more about my AI. My AI
Yeah.
is called Nova, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
You want to know
So
more
talk
about
about
it?
that later.
one thing, so the one of the reason that we invite Anthony in this live stream is basically, I'm really, I think we have talked before, and I read your post a lot, and I find like you are one of like like a Notion AI experts in some
Yeah.
way, because like I feel like you use because I feel like you use Notion on top of it to build your business. So I think the whole your workplace is using Notion. While I don't, I move out from Notion. I just want to be honest, and as well as because I'm using Cloud Code and Obsidian to kind of like centralize of how I work. But I find many people as well like that have been using Notion for last couple of years, right? And if all of their files are already on Notion, so I guess it's way more makes sense if they just use Notion AI agent. So because like it has also like it you can also manage the context well, and you can set up automation, and it's way easier to work inside of it rather than like jumping through multiple AI tools, whether it is Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini. I think it more makes sense to just use like a one workspace, and it can achieve so much things. So yeah, I think from that point, I think that's kind of like a real interesting way to uncover how people, especially you use Notion AI agent.
Yeah, and I think like main idea over here, Anthony, is like we have been doing this show like for some time, and like Window is using Obsidian plus Cloud Code. I use like Cloud Code with Notion, right? And the idea over here is like, and you use like Notion only, right? We
Yep.
all are using AI, but in all different forms, right? And we want like with the medium of this particular show, we want to like introduce the new ideas or new platforms that people can use without jumping hoops on different types of platform and still leverage AI to grow, to succeed, like as you are doing exceptionally well, right? In these aspects. So showing your journey being only housed or majorly housed into the Notion ecosystem. That's what we want to explore today.
Yep.
How you are doing it,
Yeah,
what's the
Yeah.
secret sauce, without getting
There's
distracted
no
into the
there's
world
no
of
secret
Claude.
sauce.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, I mean,
yeah,
whenever you open any feed, there is nothing but Claude, right? I mean, at least for my feed, there
Yes.
is nothing.
Correct.
yeah.
Google,
My
LinkedIn,
feed, my feed too.
Substack, everything
Yeah.
is Claude,
I
Yeah,
right?
when
So,
when I
how is
open
it
oh,
my
it's
still
so fun.
sticking
my
to Notion?
TikTok, my YouTube is everything is cloud.
Right, right. So how are you sticking it to into just one single ecosystem or
Okay,
majorly?
I think the key thing is context. I'm sure you guys understand that. I came from Evernote, so my
Okay.
journey,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used Evernote back then as
yeah,
well. When I
yeah.
saw Mubad quit.
So I used Evernote for 10 years,
Wow.
Wow,
and I
you must
switched.
be early.
I but when they sold off, you remember Evernote sold off, and then they actually increased the premium
Mhm.
to another amount, which I without increasing the feature. So then back then, and I remember that was like in 2019. So I figured I need to move up because it was already not as good. But yes, my Evernote, I have like 100,000 notes inside there. So so um yeah, then back then I have a few options. I was already trying out a lot of things. I tried Obsidian as well. It doesn't suit my style, right? Because
Yeah, yeah,
I came from Evernote. I'm sure Windows understand that.
Hmm.
So and therefore I bounced onto Notion. Even so, Notion has a stupidly steep learning curve. It is not for everybody,
Right.
right? So I actually gave up Notion for half a year, right? And then I went back again in 2021 or so. Also, I can't remember the exact. And then I told myself I need to learn how to use it. And then, of course, the good news is, looking forward, I managed to learn how to use it properly. And then they introduced. Then I've been using Notion for a long time, and then ChatGPT came out, and then after that, they also introduced Notion AI. The first version of Notion AI was horrible. All right,
yeah, yeah. It was bad. Yeah, yeah.
it was super bad. But then um it was unlimited for me. So I was in the
Oh,
back then.
you
Yeah,
were part
I
like a
was a
premium
I
members.
was a I was in between the paid and the business. So there was a period of
Oh, okay,
time they allow this in between to have unlimited usage of Notion AI. So I stick to it because it's unlimited, right? And then
right.
but yes, it was still quite horrible. Um so I was using ChatGPT paid version already,
Mhm.
right? And then I bounce back and forth, and then I find it to be extremely the work process, the workflow is very, it's just not
Restricted.
fluid for me. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to copy paste. You know, the copy paste is horrible,
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right?
exactly the problem.
Right.
And then there
Yeah.
was one period of time, I think 3 to 4 months, ChatGPT, the copy and paste feature was so bad that I couldn't copy paste table. they did something to it. There was this version 3 months to 4 months.
Yeah.
When I copy the table and I paste onto Notion, it
It won't
doesn't
paste.
come out in
Right.
table. It
Right.
come out.
Right.
It come out text.
In chunk
Don't
text. Right. Right.
Yes.
Either you need to press like the copy button at the bottom, then only like the
No,
formatting
even
gets
so,
copied.
there was a
Okay.
period 3 to 4 months they didn't allow that. So I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
copy table. Right. Then I got very fed up. And then that forced me to use a bit of Notion AI. Right. Then I went a bit. So I tried to juggle. And then there was once I think the break is when they introduced custom AI. Right. So Notion custom AI where you can create custom instruction. Basically I'm just like it's like ChatGPT memory.
I think this is at the end of last year, right?
Yes,
I think
and towards the
as
end of
I
last year.
remember. Yeah.
Right. And then I started using it and I fell in love. It was the best thing that can happen to Notion.
Yeah, I think I can
Right.
sense it as well because because I don't really use it, so I don't really try it, but I can sense like how impactful it is to basically being able to
Yes.
to run agents, multiple agents, and then they have their own custom instruction,
Yeah.
and
So
they
so
have
so
their own
yeah,
like
custom instruction. You can switch you can add memory. You can uh any actually I'm just creating custom GPT inside Notion AI.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can
yeah,
create custom GPT. I try to relate to people who are using ChatGPT, or I can create skills like cloud in Notion AI as well. Right.
yeah,
So I can make my Notion AI think like a copywriter. I can make my Notion AI think like a strategist, or I can make my Notion AI to think like a email marketing agent. Right. So I can incorporate all these skill sets or custom GPT. Actually, end of the day, whatever they call it, it is context.
yeah,
Right. Okay. So, why I eventually like 80% to 90% to Notion AI is because um, I my entire work life is inside Notion. So that's the good thing about my workflow. So I do agree that Notion AI is not for everybody because if, like for example, Windows works in code. Uh, Dheeraj, I think you also work mostly in code, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I work in Notion. My whole entire work is in Notion,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a lot easier for me because then all my contacts, all my work,
yeah,
whatever
Remains
I've
over there.
done last week, last year, 2 years ago, is all inside Notion, right? So and then there is no need for me to copy paste memory, copy
Mm-hmm.
paste context, right? So that's how I decided to just use Notion AI. To me, context is a, a lot more important than whether the LLM is powerful or not, right? There are still some flaw. Notion AI is very slow, right? If I compare it with Claude or ChatGPT, it's quite slow, but that gives me time to make some coffee along the way.
So apart
Yeah.
from slowness and funny, do you see like any type of quality output as well? Like how do you compare? Have you ever compared like the quality of the content output that comes out of Notion AI and the
Okay.
quality you get from maybe like Claude or ChatGPT?
Um, it's unfair to ask me because all my context is inside Notion AI. So
Okay.
when I generate my content, it is definitely far better than if I just open up a ChatGPT
Okay.
new thread to. It is far better, right? But
Because
it is a biased answer because all my contexts are inside Notion.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
right,
If if if,
yeah, it
if
makes sense.
you if anyone here who is not using Notion like all the time, and then they use Notion AI to generate output, they will say the output is not as good. Which
Yeah,
I can, yeah. So it's really you need to be in the system
right.
to see the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you're right
Ye-
about the context as well because like what I do, my context layer is Notion, but like
yeah,
then I have
yeah.
the
You still take the
MCP on top
MCP,
of
right?
it,
Yeah,
and then like it connects to the Cloud Code. So Cloud Code does not
yeah.
own anything, but everything stays within Notion for me as well. So
Correct.
the context layer for me is Notion, which is shared, which can be shared anywhere, wherever I
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So for me, I just everything
Yeah,
just do
you are
inside
still
Notion.
into Ocean. Nice, nice.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like, I think many people actually try to compare between multiple AI models, right? But I think some of them also forget that you also need to spend more time first on the system,
Right,
like
right.
tweaking the prompt, and adding more context before kind of like comparing in some ways. So I think, yeah, because like right context will make a lot of difference to your
Yeah.
outputs. So I guess like, yeah, I think it's really required before you run the analysis to compare it really apple to apple by adding same context across models. Then you can basically analyze which one that
Yeah.
actually is better.
Yeah. So if you use I'm not sure if your Notion has Notion AI enabled. So in Notion AI, I can select the LLMs, right? I can select Opus,
Yeah.
Sonnet. I
Okay.
can select
Yeah.
ChatGPT 5, ChatGPT 4. I can select Gemini 3 Pro, anything. Um, I tried to do comparison before. So for
Mhm.
example, I do Gemini and Gemini, ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 5 and ChatGPT 4. So I compare both by using the actual one. Um, the results are comparable. Okay. But I do see that when you are using the actual model, so for example, if I'm talking about Opus and you use the either the Cloud Web or Cloud desktop
Mhm.
app,
Mhm.
the outputs are longer,
Right. Yeah, it makes
more
sense.
details.
Yeah.
Whereas for Notion is not so detailed, primarily because of the custom instruction that I wrote inside,
Yeah.
which I definitely will be sharing later.
Yeah.
So I spend I actually spend about when I first started into writing my custom instruction, I actually spent about 3 days writing the whole thing out, right? The whole entire custom instruction.
Th-
The
Well,
instruction that runs Nova.
yeah. That runs your life, right? That
Yeah.
runs your life.
Huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So you
I think
mentioned
also
about. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Window.
no. So I think there is the system instruction, right? So if you use directly Claude, then there is like the high level system instruction
Yeah.
before the system instruction that you set up on your website
Yeah.
or Claude Web or like Claude Code, right?
Yeah.
But also if you use Notion, there is like a system instruction that already adjusted by Notion before you have control over your own custom instruction on your own Notion agent. So I think, yeah, that's why that's how I think these companies actually works. If you kind of like a wrapping all of the AI models inside of your product, so somehow you need to tweak it to adjust with how your products works. I think
Yeah.
that's how Notion actually
Yeah.
does in the
And
behind the
and
scene.
and the perks to me using Notion AI is Opus is unlimited.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Wow.
that must be,
So
yeah, rewarding.
okay. Personally, I'm on Claude Pro. I also on Gemini Pro. Right,
Okay,
and I can tell you the frequency of Claude Pro hitting limit is like, oh
so
my god,
fast.
it's like
Yeah,
it's like I think Windows is probably using Max.
Yeah, same
I
here.
Yeah,
I'm on
I think you
Max.
are using Max. I
Just keep
I
hitting even
if
Yeah,
on
if
Mac.
if you are using Max and you're hitting the limit, you can imagine Pro is like
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah.
every half an hour I'm hitting.
I, that's
No,
the thing.
even if you use Opus, like it's just like maybe like 1 hour, 2 hours, you hit the limit,
Yeah.
depending on the
So the
task.
good thing about Notion AI is it's unlimited in Notion AI.
Oh, nice, nice.
And I
Yeah.
just write and write and write, and then the enjoyment of I don't have to check the usage.
Yeah,
So, Anthony,
yeah,
like you just mentioned about the Nova platform, right? Which we want
Yeah.
to see as well as you share the screen.
Yeah.
But before we go there and start sharing the screen, so the writing part, I understand, like from the writing perspective, everything is happening within Notion. But like you must be doing like research about your ideas, the topics, the So, I mean, like kind of keyword research or topic research or competitor research. So, for that, do you go outside Notion or that can also be handled within the Notion?
Okay,
Mm.
usually my initial is the first search I do on Perplexity.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And what I'm trying to do is just mass collect all the wisdom
Yeah.
from the whole entire internet using Perplexity, and then I will just copy and paste the whole chunk into Notion AI, and then
Okay.
that
Yeah.
forms the basis. Because what I also copy is the citation and the links to
Mhm.
everything, and Notion AI can read everything,
Okay.
right?
So, it can
So
go out and scrape the content as
yeah,
well?
it can scrape
Okay.
everything, right?
Okay.
So the first huge chunk of the work is done through Perplexity, and then the moment I copy and paste everything into my Notion, basically I never leave that page anymore.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
So
Right.
my
Which,
whole day is inside that one page.
yeah. So you only require to go outside when you run research that requires multiple source, right?
Yeah,
Across websites.
yeah. But usually the first try after I go in, I don't need to go out anymore. Because Notion AI can also do web search. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But why don't you run from Notion instead?
I think Perplexity is gives me
Yeah, it's way better.
Much
Yeah, it's way
better.
better
Yeah.
better
for
research
researching.
results.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And synthesis is also better.
Yeah.
Like the
So
entire.
I think but I'm a very practical person. I don't follow any one particular platform. To me, I use whichever one works for me.
Mhm.
Right. So of course, coincidentally, Notion has everything I need. But
Okay.
if I need to do Google Workspace related stuff, I actually do use Gemini. Of course, if we need to do image stuff, of course, Nano Banana,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
Although I have to say that the recent update from Notion AI that can create image is quite good,
Okay.
right? If you haven't tried, you can go to I wrote a post about that, and I compare Gemini, Nano Banana, Claude, ChatGPT image creation with Notion AI. And Notion AI image creation is surprisingly quite okay, quite
Do
decent.
they mention which model that they use? Is it
Uh,
Nano
I can
Banana as
choose
well?
also. Yes,
Oh, you can.
Oh,
Okay.
so you
I can
can
choose
choose.
it. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so it is surprisingly quite good. Of course, it depends on what type of image you are creating. Um, there are still certain things I mean, if I tell you, oh, I want to create infographic, all of us will go Nano Banana, right? Or Gemini or Noble
Yeah.
LM, right? It's a natural choice,
Right.
right? But the more generic image, I I actually do create them natively in Notion AI now. Yeah.
So,
Got it.
Anthony, can we like now see the secret behind all?
There's no secret. I actually share it free of
Can
charge
you
as
share
well.
the secret of your brain, Nova?
Right. So Nova is my so this is Notion AI. Y'all can see the screen, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So this is the instruction, and I actually gave it free in Soulbrainer code. It's free for download.
Yeah.
Right. So um okay, so actually so Notion custom instruction is actually just like cloud.md, your
Yeah.
whatever memory instructions is all about the same. But the good thing about Notion AI, which I realize is very is very contextual and is very conversational, right? So it suits my needs because it gets things done, right? So this is the part I really like about. So this is my Notion custom instruction. I can paste a link later for you guys to download this whole thing. It's free. I give it out free. You don't even need to subscribe if you don't want to subscribe to my newsletter. Right. So I uh apologize. It's a bit messy because it was just like my brain. It's a bit messy. So okay, so
Yeah.
there's a
Oh,
personality profile of Nova. So Nova is a neuro operative virtual assistant. How did the name came about is I also asked Notion AI. I want to give you a name. Can you can you tell me what is a good name for you? So so that
the
so
name
That's
comes
smart.
from Notion.
yeah, so Notion AI came up with this name for itself. So interestingly, and I also told Notion AI to design your own logo, and then this is a personality, right? So personality for the AI, okay, and then there's chat interaction, the tone, right? What type of tone and style that they have to interact. The writing style, I believe you all see this online a lot. It was actually, I think it's Sabrina Romanoff who shared this earlier, but I expanded on it. Okay, and then there's a response flow, and then there's a Anthony speech pattern and style guides. So this one is how I talk and how I interact. And then there's memory, right? So in Notion AI, how they uh how they store the instruction is basically just like a page in Notion, right?
Yeah.
And what this means is that I can create endless page within the page,
Yeah.
right? So I can create a memory of Anthony for 2025, a memory of Anthony in 2026.
Mhm.
All right. And then I store everything inside here for Nova to go through. All right.
Why do you have two memory?
No, I want
The
Nova to remember my progress over the years. What?
No, you have two memory, right? The Anferni and Anfernitan, the
Yeah.
mini profile.
Okay. So this one is very interesting. What I told Nova is if you want to do something very simple, you refer to my mini profile. Right.
Okay,
And then when you want to do something more like a maybe you have to do a landing page or a resume, something that is more intensive, you go to my deeper profile.
got it.
So this is
Got it.
actually linked to another page, right?
Yeah.
It's actually in your term it's more like I'm trying to save token, right? Because in Notion sense, token means speed, right? Like I
Mhm.
said, everything I use here is unlimited. At least until Notion decided to charge everything lah. But for now, everything is unlimited, right? So, I also noticed that as I build the custom instruction, the more I build, the slower it gets because they actually essentially the whole AI just read the whole entire instruction before they do
Yeah.
something.
i- this is also my problem with Cloud Code as
Yes,
well. So
correct.
Cloud Code has Cloud.md, right, as the brain of
And
the
your code
system.
identity is like
Yeah, yeah,
growing
yeah.
and
And
growing.
you can actually write like a instruction maybe 500 lines or maybe
Yep.
600
Yep.
more, and somehow it just like hurt the performance because
Yep.
what you do is basically just context routing everything, and
Yes.
it doesn't make the agent more effective. So I think it's really important whenever we create the brain or like the code MD or agent MD, it needs to be concise and also like what the things that I like to be doing in improving my cloud MD or agent MD is basically
Mm,
to ask AI like what are the things in this instruction that makes you that affect your behavior,
mm,
because if the instruction doesn't affect any behavior change, then there's no need to put all of the instruction
correct.
inside of the agent MD. So
Correct.
you need to make sure all of the instruction is not FYI instruction, because sometimes we just add more stuff and we don't realize whatever that we add is just FYI and it
Yes.
doesn't change any behavior. So I think like just ask AI like,
Yeah.
is there any of these things that actually affect your behavior or not? If not, then just remove it. If
Yep.
yes, then please add more around
Yep.
it.
Then
Yeah, I think
then
that's kind of like
sometimes
my tips.
and then sometimes I think like that progressive disclosure kind of a thing where you
Right.
just
Yeah,
reference
yeah.
the files, that also
Yes.
matters, and it also helps like reduce the number of lines or the text that is
Right.
there and pollute
Yes.
the
Yeah.
context in it.
Yes. Right. Uh, so the only difference that I realized that for Notion AI, the memory is the whole entire workspace
Hmm.
Mhm.
because it has access to my entire workspace. So to give you a understanding of the massiveness of my workspace, I once calculated how many blocks. You know, Notion is all in blocks, right? Right. So in
Yeah.
my whole workspace, I have 15 million blocks.
Wow.
Right. So yeah.
How is it possible?
Um, the I, I just have a lot of things.
You have to write for 2 years, window.
Yeah.
I have
Right.
things. Okay. So okay. Yeah. So I also have memory. I shall not expand this. This is
Yeah.
my
That's
own.
private for sure.
Yeah. Right. So I also along the way came up with this compass framework. Right. So it is to when I want to do deep no mistake type of work, I will apply compass. Right. So when I use the keyword apply compass, Nova will follow these steps
Nice.
and generate a
Interesting.
self-tracking progress. Right. So
Yeah.
it's just like when you tell Claude to say, make sure that it's working before you hand off to me. Right.
Hmm.
So I have compass. So when I key in the instruction apply compass, so for example, help me create this landing page, copy together with the 5-day email onboarding sequence, apply compass. So when I do that, Nova will go through all these steps and make sure that they will do self iteration and self testing,
Mm.
make sure everything is okay according to the my intended output before they hand over to me.
So this is your quality gate, more or less, right?
Yes, correct. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Right. So, and the beauty really when I do use Notion AI is I can create my own. Yeah. So, uh, and it's very fun when I do that.
On what cases that you use this compass?
uh,
Is it
Usually I apply when I have very long tasks,
see
right? Because,
depends on the complexity, right?
yeah, if I just one line, I won't apply this. If I want to, because uh, f- for for Notion AI, I can do multitask in one instruction, right? I can give it my highest record I gave it 50 tasks
Mm,
and I apply compass, right?
mm,
And then it's able to do all the 50 tasks, check every step correct, hand over to the next staff. So the 50 staff is actually 50 steps hand over. You in ChatGPT, you might call it sub agent, right? But in here is basically just one it's just Nova. Right? And what it does is it does complete one task, check everything before handing over the next task, right? And it does this and it actually will produce one progress log, right? And then it will only hand over complete everything after it's done,
Hmm.
right? So I usually apply this when I have multiple steps or I have very long workflow.
This is
Yeah.
very interesting because I don't know like window what you do, but like I try to create like there is a plan file that gets created behind the scenes, but then like
Mm,
there are multiple plans running always, right, for us.
yes.
So I would create
yeah,
like a plan.index file like in my project and ask the plot
yeah,
to track the plan.index and keep on updating
yeah,
it as it is moving through the plan because sometimes
Yes.
those wiggly characters will come. I have to close the session,
Correct.
then I have to
So that they
restart
can
it.
come back to the same
Right,
point,
come
right?
back to
Yeah.
the same state of the plan that it was executing and it
Yeah.
knows. So that's how it tracks. And I think like I see this like more like a similar progress
Yes.
log of
Yes.
large set of
yeah.
instructions or big plan
I,
that it is executing.
yeah, I would use scale for this. So because
Yeah.
scale,
It's
yeah,
it's just it's all different way of achieving the same result.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Right.
different way. We
Right.
have different ways to achieve
Yeah.
this.
So And then this is what I'm going to show later. I actually had this weekly reflection. Um, Before I use AI, I already started. I actually started weekly reflection back in 2015. So I've been doing it for 10 years, 10 over
Well,
years.
I'm in 5 years. I'm in 5 years already.
Yeah. And I do it on every Sunday. And it is one of the most painful things to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Be-
because of, when we start to do a lot of projects and a lot of things, then it's all over the place, right? So I have client work in Google Workspace. I have another client work in Microsoft, and all this. And then, and it gets messy. And then when I want to do reflection, it's always half, it's not a
Full
full
information.
reflection. And you have to spend a lot of time gathering all the details. um I used to follow this 9 step weekly reflection, but after I transfer to this, it's just one instruction, right? So
Yeah.
what it does is, this is the
Sorry.
full
Oh,
instruction.
what one question. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is way simpler, right? Because like it's more centralized, but also like you also need to compile all of your files inside of Notion, right? And then
Right.
Yes.
and then yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so I also have a Notion second brain,
Okay,
right? And then basically whatever I do outside, it is inside. I will transfer the information to my
got it.
Notion,
Yeah,
right? So when I go to meeting with client, I also write into my Notion meeting minutes. When I create um, uh, content for clients, or I create training training materials, I also create inside Notion.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So everything stays
uh,
in Notion for you.
yes, everything stay in Notion. And if I so everything starts from Notion. And if but not everybody uses Notion. So whenever I need to share with another person, I will copy paste into Google Docs, or whatever platform that they're using. But the base is always Notion.
Mm.
Yeah. And and I think it's very useful if you just start from one single source.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Right. So so my weekly output and outcomes, what I share, what I move, my activity map, right? So this is the whole entire prompt. You can call it a prompt,
Okay.
right? So for inside here is a call instruction, right? So basically it's a prompt. Right. I also have repurpose, content repurpose. Just like what Windows shared the other time about the Google Opal repurpose, right? Um,
yeah.
my repurpose is inside Notion AI. Of course, it doesn't have the direct link API to post directly, but it generates everything out for me to just copy and paste, right? And then, and because my entire social media scheduling calendar is also inside Notion, so basically what I do is I get it to generate all the content and tell it to plug into the calendar.
But do you integrate your your do you integrate your Notion to Google Calendar, or you use
No,
Notion
I have
in
Notion calendar.
Notion Calendar? Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
my
So it
Notion
doesn't.
calendar is my Notion calendar is actually Google Calendar, because
Okay, so
Notion calendar
it's sync,
itself,
right?
yeah, Notion
Yeah,
calendar doesn't have a source. The source is Google Gmail.
yeah. But do you also integrate Gmail as well with Notion?
Yes,
So okay, so you can basically ask what are the urgent emails for
correct,
today, right?
correct. So I also have a morning brief for my Nova,
So
right?
that
Got it.
also
So
Okay.
goes to
yeah,
your emails.
no, mine is just generate as a notification, and I just
Okay.
check it out from my phone.
On the
Yeah.
Notion app.
Yeah, on the Notion app. Yes, correct. Notion app on the phone is horrible.
But at least there is an app, right? You can,
Yes, at least
use
the
it
app.
on the move. You can
Yeah.
use
So
that.
I use that to consume information rather than to actually do work.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
No,
think,
no.
like, I use it mostly because, like, my context layer is also in Notion. So
Yeah, correct.
at times, like, system would have done certain things in Claude
Yes.
and would be waiting for my approval in the different databases. So if I'm on the go sitting idle in my son's class, then like I'll just open the app.
Yeah.
That's the only, I think, like, that's one of the
Correct.
reason I'm still staying with Notion, not moved to Obsidian yet, because like then I can at least do the manual reviews that are pending in the app. At least for that part, I know like it is a pain to scroll the columns and then see, but
Yeah.
at least it works.
Yeah, at least it works. I think that's the most important. Okay. Yeah, then the next part is really the most exciting part actually, because I actually have sub agents, right? So they are actually called modes in Notion AI. Um, all right. So I do have these are all created uh from scratch, right? So I have a productive mode, decision making mode, strategy mode, content writer mode, all sorts of different modes. And then what I do is they are actually linked to, right? So I show you one example, content writer and social media mode, right? So you have the agent identity. Um, it's like writing a very elaborate mega prompt,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Creating rules, what to do, what you can do, what you not do, how you write, and all the rules, all the boundaries, right? Um, and then I tied them to so I train Nova to recognize my instruction, and then what Nova will do is it will switch mode according to my instruction. So if I tell them to write a blog post, it will switch mode to a blog post writing mode,
Okay.
and then they will just take on the identity. So it's just like a prompt, right? Behave
They
like,
So
yeah
how do
they
you
can
yeah,
go ahead, Window? Go
yeah,
ahead.
oh, okay. You can also deploy multiple sub agents in parallel, right? So
yes.
let's say I want to write a blog post using this blog post writing mode, and then you apply with the decision making mode. So the first agent run the writing, and then the second agent will
Oh,
deploy once.
they cannot work in parallel. They will hand
Oh,
over.
okay. Oh, it's kind of handover.
Yes,
Okay.
right. Um, so you have to imagine this Nova as a superhuman, lah, right? So, uh, you take on the role as a decision maker. Then once it's done, it will take on the role of a blog writer,
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
right?
So,
Yeah. So
Anthony, when you were saying that you trained them, right? You trained
yeah,
these your Nova. How do
yeah,
you train it? Like, is it like you kept on fine tuning the instructions which is there in
yes.
this particular? Okay.
I
Okay.
fine tune two things: fine tune the instruction and fine tune the memory.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So
Right.
in the beauty of Notion AI is the memory is the whole entire workspace,
Hmm.
right? So I can actually tell Nova to so they do something wrong, for example. Then I'll say, how do you arrive with this output? And then they'll say, oh, I actually refer to this particular section from this particular place. Then I say, okay, do not refer to here anymore. Go to this place instead.
And update
Right?
your
Right.
memory as well, right?
Yes, and then
Yeah.
update
Yeah.
your memory, and then they'll
Okay.
just update the memory.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Makes sense.
so it's actually undoing the training rather than ChatGPT doing the training, lah, right? Um, it, in any case, it's quite fun to train your own AI.
I mean,
The-
like it requires like anywhere, like you, even if in Cloud Code, we have to like change or fine tune
yes,
the instructions when it is like
yeah,
Yeah.
going wrong or not expected as we
yeah,
want it to
and
work.
I think it's the fun. The fun part is really that the training and the creation.
I,
All right, so
and,
yeah, so because Window told me I should do a demo for. So my demo is, oh, by the way, these two images are created by Notion AI,
okay.
right? So So this is the page that I'll give free. So after this, I'll send you the link. Then you can attach it to the post, right? So this is the prompt that I showed earlier, the weekly prompt, right? I will not do the whole things, but the
Mhm.
prompt is what I'll do is every Sunday morning I will prompt Nova this, right? So Nova my week, right? So this is
Okay, so when you run this my week, then it's automatically triggers the weekly review, right?
correct. So you trigger the whole
Okay.
entire thing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So um I will not continue to stay here because it takes a really long time to.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
it
very
takes about 15 to 20 minutes to come out the whole entire.
Oh,
wow. That's
wow.
that's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot for sure.
So I show you what it does when it's done. Okay, this is the one that I done just this week, this Sunday, the Sunday that just passed. The actual document, by the way, right? So this is the reflection. Uh, I have no idea why there's an error here. Wait, let me do a reset and see whether it appears or not. Okay,
It's
all right. So it's here.
okay. Sorry.
All
Okay.
right. So okay, let me increase the size a little bit for you guys. All right. So part of my prompt is also to ask Nova to generate a infographic,
Okay.
Mhm.
right,
Nice.
based on my reflection, right? So this is the week reflection. As it says here, ships 2, sales touches 3, product milestone, right? So these are the details, right? The weekly outputs and outcomes, right? What ship, what move forward, my revenue, right? So I had a Substack live with Singran. I also creating irresistible offer system, right? I also do some corporate training, and there's a few paid subscriber conversion strategy that I did, right? And then this
Mhm.
is the link to the detail,
Okay.
which I will not click on this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, and then there's some pipeline relationship methods, busy work maintenance. I actually did some maintenance for the Nova instruction. And then social media posting, calendar editor, blah blah blah, activity map. Right, so total activity, total page touch, and then consumption production. They also came out with a day to day. Right, what did I do on all the days, the whole entire week? They also noticed that I have 2 late night sessions past midnight,
Wow. Nice.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Then
awesome.
ask
You're
me,
into a sleep debt.
make sure,
Yeah.
right? So, then business area, um, uh, everything follow through audit, what is not done, what is partially done, okay, and then my pattern, which is the one of the most important thing that I read on. So pattern one is articles draft keep advancing but never publish. I think it's because I have too many ideas.
Mhm.
Right. So every time I have an idea,
Too
I
many,
also
too
Follow.
many backlogs.
Same problem.
yeah.
Mhm.
You do.
You know, there was once I actually commented in a note to say that I I have more ideas than the allowable published
Right.
post.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Always
Right.
catching up.
Yeah, and then pattern two is consumption session disguised as production, right? So I need to read in detail this one. New projects keep appearing. Yes, I agree. Right. Also commented that my first digital dollar project started and then cloud knowledge vault. I created one. Then oh yeah, I also created a AI daily Telegram channel, which I will launch soon. Right. And then blah blah blah. Late night work session. I can't remember what this. Maybe I can check back later. Right. And then task database. There are also some bottlenecks that I need to resolve. Um, and then a simple scorecard, right? So they compare. Oh, I also make Nova compare my current week with my previous week,
Mm.
right? So this is something that I always make sure that I actually make Nova compare uh 14 days before and 7 days after, right? So
So it
and
is
then
all part of the original instruction plan, right? That you have
yes,
created for it. Okay.
correct, correct. And then the next week plan. So what my weekly what come, my top three priorities, two anti-goals, 1 24 hour election, which I did Gemma 4, the one that I wrote recently when I wrote about Gemma 4. And then the guardrails, blah blah blah. So it was generated on the 12th. Yeah. So this is
Ah,
one my uh and truth be told, if I without an AI to help me, I think it will take me half a day to do this.
Right. Absolutely.
yeah,
Or you need
that's
a team.
that's uh, that's super organized for sure.
Right.
and then
Yeah,
and then they will always and then it will always put into this, and then I will do a monthly reflection as well, building on the 4 weekly reflections.
Wow.
yeah. When you run comparison between weeks, you take it from the previous week summary, right?
Correct.
And then compare
Yes,
to
correct,
what happened on this week.
correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So so the if you recall, you see, if Notion even notices that I sleep late. I sleep late because I open Notion to do some work
Work.
lah.
Right. Work.
So
The timestamps are
Because of
going
Notion,
wrong.
you
if
should
I
blame Notion because of it.
yeah, if I open YouTube, Notion wouldn't know that I sleep late.
Hmm.
Ah,
But
Yeah,
it's
so
fabulous.
it's yeah, it's this is just one of my workflow,
Right.
right?
And
I actually have uh 18 workflows in Nova. Yeah.
So yeah, this
very nice.
your entire business on Nova.
Yeah.
I think that's majorly the key here. Like you have to stick or go all in into one tool so that like everything is staying over there. But yeah, so I
Yeah,
think
makes sense.
that's the one part. I think
Yeah,
like we are
I think the main thing is um don't just say, oh, Anthony is using Notion AI, you just go
Mhm.
into it. I think the most important is to identify what works for you
yes, yes.
and what you are already using.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
I
think that's the
Right. I think like we are 5 minutes almost left now. I will like to take some questions. I think like one of the question that I see in the chat is, what are the pros and cons of Notion AI
I
versus
saw that.
Notion inside Cloud Code via MCP, which is basically I'm using and then like you are using, and
Yeah.
a window is here, which we started with like Cloud Code with Obsidian. So there are like three versions, doing more or less like a similar thing, but three versions of different frameworks or workflows you can call. So I mean, maybe like I can take a stab at it, at least from the perspective that I have and why I choose to stay with Notion. I mean, like it provides me public web pages. And like, Christian, it's your question. So, I mean, it's basically, I'm exactly on that particular mode where I have Cloud Code, the MCP setup, which goes into Notion. The drawback, the con that I would say, number one is it's a little fragile. I have moved from MCP rather to the API layer now of Notion because firstly, the usage limits were hitting constantly because of the Notion MCP.
Yeah.
It was like creating a lot of issues in terms of usage patterns. So I moved to the API layer. So it's a little slow, but like at least it works for me. All the APIs are now documented, so it works. So that's like one con that I see. The advantage that I see is like I can move Notion into Obsidian. I just have to like change the kind of the connector layer in between them, so I'm like not stuck over there. So that's like number one, I can go in. Why I use Notion over Obsidian as well, because of the public access. I can publish public pages in Notion that my subscribers or other people like whom I teach can reference without any cost to me. And the mobile app, like I just said, like I on the go, certain things in the databases requires my approval, I'll approve. It's gonna work. But now like Cloud Code is opening up channels and whatnot, like dispatch, remote control. So there are still, I'm not disturbing the workflow, I'm still sticking to it. So that's what you said, like what works for me, what is working for me, I would like to stay until I move on.
Until it becomes painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the key.
or other
I,
part becomes very smart.
there's one more. There's one more difference, which is the most important as compared to using code with MCP, is that Notion AI can create database also.
Yes.
I can describe the database and can create a
Right.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Something that I usually take days and weeks to create
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
So
feature I use.
I actually tested it with co- MCP with connect to Notion, and I also create another exact same Notion database with the same
Mhm.
prompt using the native
Mhm.
Opus also, and the output from the native Notion AI, which is
Way better.
Nova, is way better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It makes sense.
Right.
that's
This
the
is
other.
this is also the reason why I move out from Notion, because it doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense to use the MCP one. It's kind of because it's laggy and it's so slow,
Yeah,
and the output is not really accurate as compared to using the AI agent directly inside of Notions, right?
yeah,
But again, like, because I already have Claude, so on Max Plan, and if I use Notion AI agent, then it's kind of makes
yeah,
my whole workflow is kind of complex. So that's why I move out from Notion, and then right now full on Obsidian with
Brilliant.
output. But yeah, I think, yeah, the I think there is issue on the MCP. It's not like really seamless, and
Right.
it's not that as fast as well. So that's why if you really like Notion, then I would just go using the AI agent inside of Notion. It's way better.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's the pros and cons to me. Besides that, um, besides creating the database natively, I think the rest are all quite okay. The rest of the issues, of course, the only other thing is Notion AI cannot create coding, cannot do coding, right? But it
Right.
doesn't,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's not
We
my
cannot
bread and
build with
butter.
it. We cannot build
Yeah.
with it, but at least, if your not workflow is not that of a builder,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
coding,
It's fine.
yeah, I'm not a
for a
developer.
content creator, someone who is in the education, I think like that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
So I mean, like, yeah, we are almost on time, 1 hour talk. I would like to thank you, Anthony, to join in on our one shot show, share this
Thanks for
amazing
sharing this.
one place platform that people can go in for their content creation journey, and just make best use of it. Hopefully others also get like full access to Opus, I would say, as we struggle to get the access to Opus. But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for joining in, and people who have joined in late, please subscribe to Anthony. He's my inspiration. I mean, like, when I joined Substack,
It's a total AI expert on Notion for sure.
absolutely.
Notion AI, Notion AI.
Notion AI,
Yeah.
Notion AI.
All right. So
Oh,
anything
all
like
right. Yeah, thanks for the time, Anthony. I think, yeah, there's so much thing for sure on the Notion that I haven't really explored, and this also like open my eyes in terms of like the possibilities that I can do.
From this conversation, I'm super fascinated with Notion AI.
Yeah, and I didn't expect, like, basically you build like the entire thing inside of Notion, which is really awesome. I thought it was kind of like partial stuff, maybe 90%, but this is like total
it's like
100% all in,
it's like
100% all in,
99%.
99% all in, which is really cool.
All right, Anthony. All right, Window.
Okay.
Thank you guys for joining in.
All right,
See
thank
you
you
next
everyone.
week.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Thank you
See
Same
you,
so
see
much.
you next week
Yeah.
at the
Bye
same
bye.
time.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye
Bye.
bye.